Hi, I'm Seamless, and I'm back. I actually got back a few days ago, but I've been really slow to kind of rebuild everything to do videos again from Dance Fair. This video is going to be about Dance Fair, and this is basically just going to be me talking to you, telling you a story essentially about Dance Fair, because I have no real serviceable footage or pictures or anything that I didn't already post on like Facebook and stuff like that. So that's just kind of going to be what's up. What is Dance Fair? So Dance Fair is a trade show that I think has been going on for the last 5 years in Utrecht in Holland. At least it was there this year. I'm not sure if they're always there, but that's where it was. And Image-Line is one of the major sponsors for Dance Fair. And they had a expo. They had a booth in the expo floor, and they also had a seminar room, a workshop room, where they brought people to do workshops, and they decided to bring me to do workshops, and that was pretty cool. I brought my friend Liz along. If you don't remember who Liz is, go watch the first ever live stream I did, which is on the YouTube channel somewhere, and go check her out around 18 minutes, and you'll see Liz. But so they brought us out. They put us up in a hotel for a week, and they paid for everything because they're awesome. So yeah, good job, Image-Line. I did actually get to meet Image-Line. I met Scott, otherwise known as the FL Studio Guru, and JMC, who is the company's owner. There's their forum names, and then there's their actual names. Scott is just Scott because he's smart like that. And then there was Nucleon, also known as Arlo. Pierre, also known as Shinyless. Dan, known as Dan. Who else was there? Frederick, known as Fred. A lot of people. Mentioned Pierre, and Paul Dunn. He was there. Also, X Duddy. I'm not totally sure if that's his name on the forums, but that's he was there. Pretty sweet. I got to meet all these guys. I'm probably forgetting people. I also got to meet Jace Lewis and his friend Christian, and he's from Protofield. Remember, there was a remix competition for that a while ago, and so I was there, and he was there doing a seminar as well on drum programming versus live playing, and there's a drum kit and everything, which was pretty funny. But I did my seminars on pretty basic stuff, just like what Harmor and additive synthesis is, and like what citrus and what FM synthesis is. And I kind of tried to make my seminars basically be like, why is Harmor awesome and why is citrus awesome? Harmor was pretty easy to do that, but for citrus, I had to kind of defend it against every other FM synth by saying like what makes it special versus other FM synths, which was pretty easy at this point. But I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of really good time there. Basically, I left on Wednesday night at 7:15 p.m. from Logan Airport in Boston. I had to get a passport. I didn't have a passport, so like that was kind of a rush to get that done. And also get my friend Liz's passport done because she has problems with the government. But yeah, so we left at 7:15, and we arrived in Amsterdam at 8:15 a.m. on Thursday. It's a 7-hour flight and a 6-hour difference. So it was I was wrecked. Like Thursday was just gone. I didn't do shit. Friday, I helped set up the expo booth. There's pictures of that, actually. There's that giant FL box that was there. That was actually a aluminum frame and fabric printed sides that you just kind of shoved in the edges. And that was pretty cool. We hung around, we went out to eat a bunch of times, and then Saturday and Sunday were both the expo days. So the first day was interesting because, and like I brought my GoPro, and I was gonna shoot all the stuff, but the very first thing that happened was that we went to the artist table to get our artist passes, and they didn't have them because, well, they had the passes, but the system wasn't up and running yet, so they couldn't actually verify anybody yet. And apparently this wasn't just an isolated thing. There was a huge line to get into the expo for just regular people. We got in. We got there at like 9, but the place was supposed to, like, my spiel started at 11, and there was like a line all the way across town, like just people waiting. And then eventually they got in. And despite that, there were people who did manage to get in and see the seminar. And by the time I actually got started, it was a full room, full, really, really weird room. That room was insane, and like everything in there was insane. All the outsides of the rooms were nuts. The architecture, like the paths, it was crazy town in there. Not just the expo floor. The expo floor was just a big warehouse, open space that people just put stuff on. But like the seminar halls were just crazy town, USA. And Image-Line's one like had these weird floating pumpkins that like looked down and had screens on them, and their default feed was just eyeballs looking around and blinking at stuff. And the chairs with these weird colors and weird shapes. Everything about it was weird. But there'll be videos of that, by the way, on the Image-Line channel, and also maybe my channel, depending if I get a hold of the videos. But I did my seminar, and that was about the Harmon one the first day, and then the utterly unexpected happened. People lined up to take pictures with me. I fully 100% did not anticipate this happening. I expected people to be like, "Oh yeah, good thing," and just leave, but no, people were just like insane, and people were just like telling me how much I'm their hero, and that they love that I'm here, and that they take pictures, and all this. So like 30 people, and then like when me and Liz were walking around the actual expo, people would just stop us every other second to take pictures with me. What the damn? I'm not a celebrity. I didn't know what to do with that. I just took the pictures. It was like, yeah, nice to meet you, but afterwards I was just like, what? I was so just surprised by that. This happened less on Sunday. There just weren't as many people there, but I did also still have a full house for my seminar for the citrus one. There was a lot of people there as well. Hardwell was there. Jay Hardway was there. Dyro wasn't there, but he was gonna be there. And then I think he had some kind of emergency, wasn't able to make it, which was a bummer because his was the only actual seminar I wanted to go see. But shit happens, so whatever. Anyway, during the second day, Liz hung out with this kid, Julian. His name is Daplaq, DAPLAQUE. And he actually told me that he showed up to Dance Fair specifically because he knew I was going to be there, which is like intense. He was talking to Liz while I was doing my seminar, and Liz managed to arrange for Julian, his name, to show us around Utrecht on Monday. Because after all that was said and done, Monday was the only day where I didn't have to do anything, where I just had a free whole day. So we actually went to the town, and he showed us around, which is great because I wouldn't have found anything in that town if I didn't have a guide. We saw the canals, saw the cool architecture. We went out and we went to eat at this like not unreasonably priced but like ridiculously cool looking restaurant, and then we went to a coffee shop. This coffee shop I think was just called Coffee Shop. And I'm sure they sold coffee, but really what they sold was marijuana. And I purchased marijuana with euros. And then we went downstairs and smoked it. And that was just the coolest thing I've ever experienced. Everything about that was cool as hell. Liz bought a metric crap ton of clothes. And then we went back to the hotel. And we left on Tuesday morning. Wednesday? Tuesday. This one was even funnier because the plane left at 10:30 a.m. and we landed in the States at 12 p.m. So we time traveled there, and that was a good time. And the jet lag didn't kill me as much on this time on my back. I was basically like already positioned to be like a pretty reasonable schedule, which is different from my normal schedule because normally I wake up at like 1 p.m., go do a live stream at 2 p.m. and then make a video, and then I stay awake until 6 a.m. But because of the way that this worked out, I managed to go to bed at like 6 o'clock and then wake up at 4 in the morning, and now I get up in the morning. So that's sort of what I do now. And yeah, so that was a pretty good time. I also met one other fan, actually the guy that sent this to me. This freaking thing. Yeah. He's from Estonia, and he showed up to hang out. And we coordinated a bit. It was kind of hard, but we did actually manage to get to lunch. And I also hung out with another fan who went to the seminar. His name is Vincent. Victor? Vincent. And that was neat. Oh, actually, I posted about this on the Facebook page. I said shout out to the guy who recognized me in the grocery store. But on Friday, I think, or maybe it was Thursday, but one of the days before the expo, we found a grocery store and we went to go and buy food because we just needed provisions. And I was just walking behind this dude, and this store was. Here's the thing. The Netherlands, in that area of the world, everyone is really tall. Like, on average, a lot taller than everyone I was expecting here. Like, I'm a tall guy. I'm 6'2". I'm used to being the tall guy. I'm used to being taller than everybody. But I was, like, just normal height there. And then there were people who were way taller than me. So this is a land of, like, gigantic people. And this store was so small. I get that it was in like a center of town and built into the side of the building, whatever. But the aisles were just too thin. There was just no reasonable way to conduct traffic in that place. So anyway, I was walking really close behind this guy, and I guess he heard me talk. He turned around. He did one of these. He did one of these, like, and he looks at me and goes, "Excuse me, can I ask you a question?" I said, "Yes." He says, "Would you perchance be good at FL Studio?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "You're seamless." I go, "Yes." He's like, "What are you doing here? What are you doing in the Netherlands?" Like he didn't know DanceFair was a thing. And I'm like, "Oh, I'm at DanceFair." So I just have to imagine this guy who he's familiar with me. He knows I'm in the States. He sees my videos, and then I just appear behind him in a method that he thinks is totally impossible because I don't live there. And he's just like, "What the shit?" And like that was just really funny that like I just got recognized in public like that. See, I tend not to get recognized when I'm just in regular public. Like I got recognized in the Walmart nearby where I live, which is pretty unlikely because nobody anywhere around here actually produces electronic music enough that they watch my tutorials and know who I am. There's plenty of metal people who know who I am because I'm in my metal band, but it's pretty much just metal around here. And then like I go to like the Skrillex concert that happened at UMass, and some people will recognize me. That's a higher percentage of people who might be interested in the material enough to know who I am, so that's okay. And then I go to some place like DanceFair where like almost everybody knows who I am. And that was a really fucking weird experience. And then there's just sort of regular streets of Utrecht and no one knows who I am. And like only one time during the whole time, besides that guy in the store, did people who were just outside recognize who I was. But then you go inside and it's just like a seamless fest. And which I was still, and like reeling about how ridiculously cool it was. People took pictures with me and that kind of thing. It was nuts. Yeah, so that guy was cool. I'm trying to think of the timeline of things that happened because I kind of went out of order. So I showed up, slept most of the time. Oh yeah, okay. So I mentioned that I had to rebuild things here in order to make videos, and that's because I actually brought a significant portion of my recording setup to the hotel with me in Utrecht in order to continue to make videos while I was over there. Because whenever I go on a trip, this actually happened the last time I did 3 videos a day, where I went on a trip to Seattle and like I just fully couldn't make videos. I didn't plan to make videos that time. What I planned to do was to have a buffer, was to make videos ahead of time so they would still be up, still go up while I was gone. That's all well and good, except a week's worth of videos for me is 21 videos. Getting up on that while I'm doing still regular normal videos is really hard. I probably could have done it if I tried hard enough, but I didn't. And the reason I didn't is because I thought, okay, that's really hard. I think actually would just be easier for me to just go and do it there. Well, and the reason I thought I could do that is because Image-Line actually put into Razer to give me a Razer laptop. And what they gave me was a Razer Stealth. If you've been following Razer and you know what this is, a Razer Stealth is an Ultrabook that connects via USB Type-C to a little thing that has like a video card and maybe some more RAM or whatever in it, which means that like that helps to boost its performance. It by itself is not a terribly high performance laptop. In fact, it has a dual core processor, which means it's basically worthless for doing this kind of stuff. It can run FL just fine, even without an audio interface. And with an audio interface, it's pretty okay. It's still not anywhere, it's not like my goddamn computer, but for considering how thin and stupidly small it is, it's very impressive. It just couldn't do that and record a video at the same time. It was 100% out of the question. I was even going to try and I brought the GoPro, I brought the mic, I brought the mixer, I brought this fucking pile of cables over here, which by the way, this put my bag that we brought down there over 50 pounds, which meant I had to pay $100 for a heavy bag charge to Delta. We actually bought another bag of luggage when we were in Holland to prevent that from happening again, but all of that was useless because the computer couldn't hack it. I brought all that gear for not a fucking thing. And as a result, I got like no footage. I got no work done. So that was just whole days where there were no videos. And it's unfortunate. So that's why I'm back. It took a lot of time to kind of get back into the swing of things. And I also just have a whole lot of work that like I'm outside of videos. Like I'm doing content for Groove 3, for ADSR, for not spliced yet, but we might be talking about more stuff. Some more somatic stuff is coming. What the hell else? There's also the Natural 20 TV show, which is up on The Escapist that I'm scoring, and that I get new episodes for that all the time. And like, there's more stuff that I'm forgetting. I also had lessons that I scheduled that I did yesterday that like were hell for me to do. Not because they're fine lessons and all, but like I'm still not like in the right frame of mind to be doing this amount of work. I'm getting there though. Like I'm back though. Like I just today put the camera back on top of the computer so I can make today's out of base. And so it's been a bit of a struggle, but now I have like nothing looming over me in terms of like irreparable damage to video timing, so I should be pretty okay. But it's just really funny that I brought like a huge amount of gear. Half of my luggage entirely was stuff that I couldn't use, and as a result, it destroyed my schedule again. But I'm going to recover faster than I did last time. And in the meantime, I just hung out in town and like, oh man, you know, okay, let's talk about Europe. Euros. I've actually got fucking euros. Here's a €2 coin that I have. Look at that. And I still have cash that's still euros because I have to go to a bank somewhere that'll exchange it for dollars. And I should have just exchanged it at the exchange before I left. I held on to it though just in case there was some reason I had to pay for something. But the hell's I talking about? Yeah, so actually, here's the funny thing. This is two. Look at the little hand. 2 rupees. I think it says it. You can see that maybe. Where does it say rupees? It doesn't say rupees. It says rupees underneath the 2. Anyway, these are fucking rupees. You know what a rupee's worth? This is Indian currency, I think. It's worth 1.5 cents on a US dollar, which is even less on a euro. Probably like 1 and 1.2 cents to a euro. Someone gave this to me as change, and I think they gave them to me as entire euros. Like this should have been a €2 coin, and then I had another 1 rupee coin. Ah, here it is. This is the 1 rupee. Or is this 2 rupees? Nope, that's 2 rupees. And like the going thought on the matter is that I just essentially got scammed out of euros by some cashier somewhere who knew that I was an American and that I wouldn't check. And so I feel gypped because I got gypped. I think saying gypped in this context is actually like hilariously terrible because the word gyp, I'm pretty sure, is short for like gypsy. And that's essentially saying like it's the idea that you got gypped is that you got ripped off by something, and that's the idea that gypsies rip you off on stuff and are just sort of lifetime con artists, which may or may not be a thing. I try not to be a bigot. I don't really know anything about gypsies. Only other things that people have said about me about stuff. I've done zero research on that, so I think, and considering I was in that part of the world for this, saying gypped is at the same time appropriate, but also really, really not. So I apologize if I offended any gypsies who are electronic music producers. But yeah, so rupees happened. I'm just really fascinated by the whole euro system in the sense that, like, they have €2 coins and like €1 coins. Essentially, like the first paper currency is a 5, as opposed to Americans, which the first paper currency is a 1. And the exchange rate was pretty favorable. Like right now, a dollar is like 90 cents on the euro, which is a lot better than it used to be, and a lot better than per se like a British pound, which is like I think like straight up double. It's pretty close to double. It's a lot. It's a lot. And yeah. Anyway, now I'm back. I fully am like actually back, and I'll be making more videos. This is one of them, which is good because it meant this is a pretty easy one to do, and I basically have a free slot now. And I'm back to my usual shenanigans. I'll be streaming again on Monday, I hope, and I'll get back to doing that kind of stuff, and pretty much it'll be business as usual as far as things go. And eventually we'll see the actual seminars that were recorded from the Image-Line room, and we'll get to see what I talked about and what the room was like, because the room was pretty ridiculous. It was like I was on some like Ed Sullivan looking 70s Technicolor TV show set and such. Anyway, if you have any questions about this, please let me know. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And as usual, have a nice day.